going on, guys? This is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, just to show you guys the differences between these knives. I'm no expert, but I do appreciate a good pocket knife. I always have a knife on me, mainly because of my job, and I recently bought these three knives, and they're all popular models, and I wanted to give you guys a head-to-head. For starters, we have the Kershaw Skyline, and I went out of my way and tracked it down with the coyote brown handle. Cost me a few more dollars, but this is the Kershaw Skyline. Alright, next up, a very popular knife. This is from Spyderco, and even though Spyderco's in Colorado, this one's made in China. They have a series of knives made in China, but this is the Spyderco Tenacious. And don't let that made in China thing fool you, let me tell you. And this is from Ontario, the Ontario Knife Company. This is their Rat-1. And again, I got this one with the green scales. Just kind of doing a head-to-head because I bought them all to try them out, and they're all so different. I'm going to start by saying my biggest disappointment was the Kershaw Skyline. It was much smaller than expected, and even though the G10 handle is very grippy, and it's a nice small size for someone who doesn't really need a knife but wants to carry one on them anyway, but the thumb stud is almost completely useless. It has the flipper. The only way to, and with the camera in the way, this is tricky, the only way to really do this is with the flipper. Decent blade size, you know, and I took this knife to work once, and you can see how the finish came off the blade in just like a few hours of use, light use. So that will be an issue if you get the black. But the clip is reversible, the pocket clip. I personally like tip down carry, so it comes tip down. I left it tip down. And I'm actually going to be selling this because I have no need for it. It's too small. I have large hands, I need a knife, and I don't like having to depend solely on the flipper because my big old thumb can't even barely get to the thumb stud. But that's the Skyline, and let's actually leave them open. And this is, it doesn't say it on the knife, and forgive me for not being prepared, but this is Sandisk or whatever, Scandinavian steel. It's quality steel. It's a good little knife. But we move on to the Tenacious. Look at that. Traditional Spyderco with the spider hole, round spider hole on this one, as opposed to like the bird lines that have the funky shape and all. But these are all liner locks, by the way. Okay, it's the only kind of lock mechanism I like. Again, it's simple for that one hand opening and closing. I prefer liner locks. And this Spyderco Tenacious, which has, I don't know if you can make it out on the blade there. This uses the 8CR13 MOV steel, Chinese steel, made in China, but the fit and finish on this knife is exceptional. This is a G10 handle, also very grippy. 4 positions for the pocket clip. Again, I like it tip down. That's how it came, that's how I leave it, but you can change it for left hand, right hand, tip up, tip down. And look at that blade. And it's dirty, it's used, because this has been my everyday knife at work for a couple months now, 2-3 months now, and I love this thing. I've already sharpened it like 5 or 6 times. My knives get heavy usage, but the size, and again, I have relatively big hands, but this, you get this jimping back here, you can just get such a good grip on this knife. It's a big fat blade, you can use it to pry, you know, it holds an edge beautifully, and again, that great one-handed operation, and it's big without being too big. For a work knife, you know, you don't want to have like a, you don't want a Bowie knife as a work knife, but you don't want something that's undersized. And I think personally, for me, the Spyderco Tenacious is the greatest possible size and shape for a work knife. This is definitely a keeper, and at like a $35 price point, I'll probably be buying another one. They also have them with the combination edge, and they also have them with the black blade. If I do get another one, I'll probably stick with the stainless blade, but get a combo edge. Now the last one, the Ontario Rat-1. I'm not a big fan of tactical things, as I've mentioned before. I don't make a big deal about a tactical knife or tactical equipment or making, you know, a tactical pistol or all that stuff. But if I were going to consider anything a tactical knife, it would be this one. Strictly for how quick you can deploy this blade. This, out of all the knives I've had, and again, this is once again same old basic liner lock. Love the one-handed operation. But out of all the knives I've had, I can deploy this blade, no wrist action. This is all thumb stud. And that thing just swings out beautifully. It's smooth, it's fast, and if need be, deadly. Now this is not G10, and it's definitely not as grippy as the others that do have the G10 scales, but this is still grippy enough. I think this is some kind of fiberglass material, FLN, or I forget what it's called, but it's like a fiberglass kind of composite plasticky resin thing. But it's heavy duty, it's sturdy, I like it. As far as the knife, once again, the quick deployment, good jimping in the back here, and it's just that nice long blade. Again, this is a Taiwanese AUS 8 steel. This is actually made in Taiwan, even though Ontario is, I think, a New York-based company, upstate New York, if I'm not mistaken. Ontario, New York, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, this is the knife that I carry when I go out, you know, at night or on the weekends. You know, and again, I'm not trying to be tactical or anything, but it's big, it's handy, and you know, worst case scenario, if you have to use this to defend yourself, it's a longer, sharper blade. Oh, not sharper, but it's a longer, kind of pointier blade. I think little bit more suited, better suited to kind of a defensive scenario. Plus, once again, that lightning fast deployment. Again, this one also comes with a 4-way reversible clip. It comes tip down. I kept it that way, but you can switch it tip up, tip down, right and left. And I mean, there you go. If you really want to compare sizes, you can do it like this. Like I said, this is my off-duty knife. This is the knife I use at work to, you know, cardboard and boxes and strapping tape and twine and wires and whatever else. And this guy, I guess if I didn't have a hands-on job and I just wanted to keep a knife on me, something light and small and inconspicuous, kind of a just-in-case thing, maybe I would go with this. But it's not my style. It's too small for me. So yeah, I didn't want to run too long on this video. I just really wanted to show these knives head to head. A lot of times when you're considering buying a knife and you have 2 or 3 in mind, it's hard to find them, you know, like head to head next to each other so you can visually compare sizes and stuff like that. So if anybody out there is considering any of these knives, I hope this video has helped. And if anybody's interested in the, well, I was going to say if you're interested in the Kershaw, send me a message and maybe I'll sell it to you, but it'll probably be sold by the time I upload this video. I'm putting it on eBay probably in the next couple days. But there you go, guys. You cannot really go wrong with any of them. They're quality knives from, you know, respected companies, but depending on what you're going to use them for, size of your hand, and the little extras you're looking for example, if you wanted left-hand carry on the Skyline, that's not an option. Things like that. Keep it all in mind. I hope this helped. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for whatever's coming next. Take care.